President Trump slamming the rising cost of health care and blaming Democrats, tweeting, "Obamacare premiums are going up, 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 just as I have been predicting for 2 years. Obamacare is owned by the Democrats, and it is a disaster. But do not worry, even though the Dems want to obstruct, we will repeal and replace right after tax cuts." There you go. But even as the president calls Obamacare a disaster, it appears enrollments for 2018 are topping even the most optimistic forecasts. Joining me now is Dr. Kevin Campbell, a cardiologist and CEO of Pacemate. Hello, doctor. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good morning.
I'm happy to have you here. Listen, Obamacare enrollment up, but you say with conditions. How so?
Well, you know, first of all, we need to realize that the enrollment period has significantly been shortened this year. So it may be up early, but I think we're going to see, probably less than we saw last year because the enrollment period is so much shorter.
Okay, so then do you think will premiums go down for any of the Obamacare insured at some point?
The premiums are going to continue to rise. Most of the major insurers have pulled out over the last several years because, they're showing great losses to their shareholders. And so they're pulling out, so you have less choice, you have less competition, which means that premium is going to rise. However, those people who are on subsidies are going to continue to be protected. Even though the president, by executive order, eliminated payments to insurers, now these folks will still be covered, if not for free, for very low cost.
So then what about those millions relying on Obamacare, as you just mentioned, for their health insurance? They are fearful, though, of losing coverage. I mean, so should they be concerned or not? What do you say, Doc?
I am concerned that the government or Congress has not done anything in the last year. They had 8 years to prepare for this, and even the Republicans have not come up with a very clear, viable plan. So I think we're going to see more bickering, more obstruction from the Democrats, and I'm not sure we're going to see meaningful health care reform during this administration. I would like to see it, but I am very concerned that there's a whole lot of spinning of wheels and politicizing the entire event.
Well, the president's saying, look, he's going to fire it up again, repeal and replace. It's going to start as early as January after he gets tax cuts done. There's been some dissension inside of the Republican Party as well. It seems that no one in D.C. can sort of come up with the right comprehensive replacement for Obamacare. What do you think?
I think the infighting has really plagued the Republicans. We've controlled all three houses of government, and we still cannot seem to get meaningful legislation through. But the ultimate downfall of Obamacare is the fact that it's unaffordable. And ultimately, as the president said, it is going to implode unless changes are made. We need the Democrats and Republicans to come together and come up with meaningful reform that allows patients to have access to care. It promised access and affordability and delivered none of that. We have millions that are insured on paper only. They are not really insured because they can't find a doctor, they can't afford their copays, and it's not working.
And as a physician yourself, a cardiologist, maybe you know this or not, but you can talk to your colleagues possibly about it. You may have. How does it work for doctors, Obamacare, in terms of their payouts, et cetera?
In a lot of markets, the reimbursement with the Obamacare exchange insurance is even lower than Medicare and Medicaid, which is already much lower than traditional insurance. Even in one of the more liberal states, such as California, we see that the minority of physicians actually accept exchange insurance. So what does that mean for the person that needs health care? Again, you can't keep your doctor. You have to find a doctor that's on a particular exchange. I think the plans are very difficult to navigate and almost unaffordable. So I think, unfortunately, even though we're here wanting to focus on prevention of disease, we can't do that because our patients can't get to us.
And if you were going to be advising Congress, as well as the president, when as he says they're going to restart up the repeal and replace plans perhaps in January, what would you say to them as a physician who you want to service the people? You want to make sure those who have pre-existing conditions and people who are less wealthy can have access to great doctors like yourself. What would you say to Congress and the president in terms of, formalizing a plan that would facilitate that?
You know, I think the most important thing is we need to remember to put patients first. Quit focusing on treatment. Focus on prevention. How do we do that? Allow free competition across state lines among insurers. No longer allow insurance companies to dictate care. They need more regulation. No longer allow pharmaceutical companies to charge whatever they like. Allow us to purchase drugs from reputable pharmacies in Canada and create competition to lower prices. Make sure that people like Heather Bresch and Martin Shkreli go to prison for what they do to patients in the name of fattening their own wallet. Make sure, again, put patients first. That's how we fix health care.
We leave it there. Dr. Kevin Campbell, thank you.